Welcome, everyone, and thank you for coming to our third quarter Success Network meeting. I want to start, like we start every meeting, with some roars. So if anybody has roars, we'll just kind of start over here at this table and move around the room if anybody has any roars. Ms. Young?
I'd like to recognize Cynthia Ariza for allowing me to use her room today for library classes. Thank you very much. And also Honora, Ms. Juarez, for allowing me to teach in her classroom today when it got too hot in room 32.
I have a roar for Miss Encinas. I know she's been working diligently with the ELL kids, and we were able to test 3 kids out, so they are now no longer in need of ELL. Thank you.
I would like to thank Mr. Labus, Ms. Scheidt, and Ms. Heiduch for helping me get math materials and prepare my lessons for a subject that is not my strength. Thank you, all 3 of you.
Okay, thank you guys. Let's get started with our Success Network meeting. Just a reminder, just the purpose of today, we just want to come together and share out what we've been doing, all of the work that we've been doing in our individual Success Network components, as well as our instructional components, our SFA instructional components, because we're all working together for the same end goal in mind of student success and reaching our AMO goals. Okay, so let's take a peek now where we are in our goal-focused process. We work throughout this process, throughout the year, starting in the beginning of the year with determining all of our school goals. Right now, we come together in this forum to look at some of our results and see what we're going to do in the future. Look to the fourth quarter, look to the weeks coming up to AIMS, and how different things that we're going to implement right here in the future. So I just want you to turn back a little bit to the beginning of third quarter to look at where we started, how we started this quarter off. We had our AYP goals all leading towards our AMOs for AIMS, which is ultimately where we want to go for the end of the year. So for third grade, our third quarter goal was 53% of our students at or above grade level. For fourth grade, our goal was 67% of our kids at or above grade level. Fifth grade, 57%. Coming into third quarter, we had 42% of our third graders at or above grade level. So that left us here with 17 kids still left to move to meet the next quarter goal. Fourth grade, we had 64%. Super close to the 67% goal. So we had 8 students left to move. And for 8th grade, we had 54% of our 8th graders at or above grade level. So leaving us there with 9 kids to move to meet the goal for the next quarter, for the end of third quarter. Yes, this is where we started. This is what we went into third quarter with. Okay, when we look at our grade summary form, same thing, just a review, just to kind of go back to where we were starting off. We had 67.91% of all of our kids reading at or above grade level. Now, a little higher than what our Foresight results show, but that's because we look at the multiple measures. We look at what's going on in the classroom, in addition to Dibbles, in addition to Foresight, to determine where the students are, where their mastery is in reading. So we did have our 67.91% at or above grade level coming into the quarter. When we're coming together today, we have all of our components that are going to present all the efforts and initiatives that we had going forth in third quarter, all towards the same goal, all towards our AYP goals, and kind of really exhibiting how we're aligning and focusing all of our resources towards that common goal. Okay, so I'm really excited to see the initiatives for third quarter, and to see at the end of our presentation, we're going to show the results of all of our third quarter efforts from Foresight, from our grade summary form. We'll show all of those results to really see how all of these aligned efforts had an effect on student achievement, had a positive increase in student achievement. Okay, so we'll start with our Success Network components, and then we'll go into our instructional components.
As Janine just mentioned, we're going to delve into each of the components of our Success Network. So I'm going to start with the student intervention team. And so to begin, we have, right now, currently over the third quarter, we were serving 13 students. And 7 of those students were new to the intervention team this quarter. And of those, 20 students that were total. 7 teachers teach those students. So we have 7 teachers who are referring. So one of our goals in the future is to try to have more teachers referring students so that we're having the student intervention team serves more of a wide range of students at our school. So of those 20, we set up 17 parent meetings. So we were able to set up a great amount of meetings out of those referrals. So we set up parent meetings where we developed plans full of interventions to help these students succeed. Now, these plans were successfully implemented, and here this shows what the current status is of our plans. So there are 9 plans that are still being monitored, and then we have 1 student who made his goal. Now, I know that kind of seems like, oh, there's only 1 student who is being served by the student intervention team that made their goal. Well, you have to consider the ones that were being monitored as well as the 7 who were exited. 6 of the students exited because they were referred to SAT. And a really great point to note about the student intervention team is that all 6 of those students who exited SIT into SAT, so into our SPED referral, were all accepted into SAT. So what we're doing here in the student intervention team is really weeding out those students who are having issues in the classroom, but they're not necessarily enough to bring them to special ed. So we're setting up these interventions in student intervention team in order to, really cut through and make sure that we're bringing only the students who need the most services to be tested, and that really helps the rest of the staff at the school in terms of our SPED staff in access testing and bringing things down and making it more efficient for our school. So we're really happy with the number of cases that have been closed, and while we only have 1 goal met, I think that in the future, we have 4th quarter coming up, we still are monitoring 9 plans, and I look forward to seeing where we get to with the rest of our students.
I am Mrs. West, and this is Mrs. Vidia, and we are co-chairs of the Parent and Family Involvement Committee. Today we're going to talk to you about Read and Respond, Second Cup of Coffee, and Rise and Shine for the fourth quarter.
As per the data that we have for Read and Respond, we could see some growth from quarter 2. Roots went from 53% to 54%. Wings went from 52% to 58%, and Edge went from 47% to 57%. Also, almost every student participated at least once for quarter 3.
Okay, so we set some goals for 4th quarter since we got the data for 3rd quarter. We took some of the growth percentages that you had from the previous quarter and just kind of doubled that or added to that. For Roots, 57 to 60% is the goal for 4th quarter. For Wings, 56 to 60%, and for Edge, 60 to 65%. And then again, 100% participation at least once during the quarter.
These are our dates for the second cup of coffee for this quarter. For the month of March, we have it on the 30th. We just put the location this time, and we are going to have it in the PR Club. We thank Ms. Ellis to letting us have it there, and also we hope that we will get a good response this time.
Rise and Shine. It has been happening in the morning, but we have switched it to the afternoon. There was some miscommunication about sending home a note, but a note has gone home to let families know that it has switched from being before school to after school. And that's right after school from 3 to 3:20. And that's Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We want to give a big thank you to Miss Adair and to Miss Myers for doing that. They've been doing it since the 1st quarter, so they've been doing it for 3 quarters straight. If you would like to volunteer and give them a break, I'm sure they would love that. So please let us know. Any questions?
If we did volunteer to have the kids come to our room, now what happens to duty?
It's actually in the library. The afternoon shine is actually in here. If you took the spot of Miss Myers or Miss Adair, you would probably just switch with them and they would do your duty.
Those who are doing the Read and Respond all of the time, and they're getting it in. I know at the beginning of the year in 1st quarter, we were handing out like the McDonald's coupons and rewards like that. what are we doing now? Because I'm out of McDonald's coupons. I know our whole grade level is.
Miss Fields and I were wondering if we could decorate the second cup of coffee.
Like the PR.
With our kids' artwork. Can we do that?
Wonderful idea.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, I'm reporting for the attendance team. What we did is this quarter is we focused on the data with the students, and we focused on attendance and tardy issues. Some of the things that we did over the last quarter that you guys probably remember, we were still working on spelling tigers with your class. If you spell tigers, make sure that you email me because I will not know unless you tell me. So we've put it onto the teachers to, as you spell tigers, you need to notify me so that way I can make sure that your class gets prizes and rewards for doing that. I know that Miss Gale's class just spelled tigers for the second time today, which is awesome. Good job, Miss Gale's class. And the students were really excited when I walked in. They were like, we did it again! So it's working, and I'm glad that a lot of teachers are using that. This quarter, what the attendance team focused on was we created our own attendance hot list for those kids who were at risk, had high absence rates and tardy rates. So what we did is we focused on, me and my team broke it down per quarter. We focused on how many people were at risk or had over a certain amount of tardies for the quarter. And I believe since there's about 38 days per quarter, up to 40, the cutoff number was 4. So anyone with over 4 tardies or absences within a certain time frame is who made this list. Our tardies have plummeted. We've added more kids to the program. I handed out to some of the teachers today, for those who are affected by it, the information for the kids who have joined on that list. So if you see those kids come in tardy, make sure you let me and Ms. Becker know so that way we are aware of it. Or if anyone you want to refer to that list that you think might be at that magic number of 20 or higher, let me know and I will add them.
Looking at the cooperative culture, we were looking at our numbers, and actually I want to show you I can show you this one. You can see the numbers here. One of the things that really jumped out at us and that concerned us was not only junior high, specifically 7th grade, but all of a sudden we noticed that in 1st grade started becoming a huge problem. So with junior high, we already knew there was a problem there, so we had started a behavior plan with junior high, like an incentive plan, because for many of you who, if you don't know, junior high does not go out to recess. They do their lunch in the cafeteria. We have music on. There's like a seating area, dance area. Sometimes they do that. But the kids are still always bugging us to be able to go outside. So we thought, okay, let's have them earn it, because we were seeing that there is such a big problem in junior high.
We could use some help when people see them on campus doing things that they're not supposed to. We can use some positive reinforcement from teachers who are almost always looking at, junior high kids doing something wrong. There are some other extenuating, some things that can be done. It's not just junior high teachers.
Right.
And, part of changing the culture that we're trying to do in junior high with issues of bullying and negative behaviors that we're seeing, we could use help.
Matt.
Is there anything specifically that we can help you out with other than like the role models? Do you know? I mean, that's just kind of offhand.
Just from my experience with my eighth graders, some of them have said, well, we're always getting in trouble because these teachers that don't know us, they're looking for us to do something wrong. And they're yelling at us, and we don't even know who they are, or we've never seen them, and so they think we're so horrible. And, just a little bit of positive reinforcement from, if you see them and they're being, because they know we have an issue with some of the younger kids that come over to our wing for SFA and, before and after specials, running across campus. So, thank you for being a great model to the students that are running because you're walking next to them and showing them how calm you can be. Things like that. They're just so used to being like the bad guys on campus that when they're out and about and people are seeing them, they don't feel like all the teachers on campus welcome them as citizens of our campus.
We put 1st grade on a plan, and we made them a challenge that if they could go 3 days without getting into trouble or like an office referral, they would get, I think the first thing was a pencil. And it took about 2 weeks, I think, but then they met that goal. So hooray for first grade. Then first grade, second goal was 5 days, and then they get popsicles, which they did meet the very last day before spring break. So this week I'm going to have to come back to school on Friday with popsicles and give it to the first graders.
I have the best job, and that's Community Connections. I believe it was January 13th, I invited some of you to join us in our Fresh and Easy Night, our fundraiser. I kind of got stressed at the last minute because everybody wanted 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and no one signed up for 5 to 6. Anyway, it all turned out. Everything was really nice. Mr. Olafandi, I think they're looking for you. They need somebody to help with pushing carts back into the store. Thank you. He was a great cart pusher. If any of you need a job in the summertime, Fresh and Easy, who knows, maybe they'll hire you. That night we made $498, and a couple of you weren't able to volunteer, but you brought in receipts. The receipts total ended up being about $292, which gave us a total of about $790. Thank you, thank you, thank you. With the money, we would like to use it for literacy, for SFA, and we had talked about also rewards, helping Ms. Becker with rewards. So once again, thank you. Thank you that those of you that volunteered. Thank you those of you that shopped, and I hope to see you next year. Thank you.
So tutoring, it's a program that we have for first graders, second graders, and third graders. We mainly focus on the first graders because those are the kids that we think that need it the most. We tutor about 40 students every quarter. We have 4 sessions, 30 minutes per session. We do 4 sessions a day. Basically what we do is we do different activities with them. They love coming to tutoring. So we had 8 who moved from a template 1 to a template 4. Out of those 8, we have 3 students who are meeting, so they're doing very good with that. For next quarter, we're going to have 40 students again. We're planning to move half of those because they have already been there since the beginning of the year, so I'm thinking by now they should already be done with it. So that's what tutoring is.
Before I present the components and what our instructional components have been working on throughout third quarter, I just want to say how excited I am about the initiatives that some of the, all of the components are putting forth, and some of them that are so directly linked to instruction and improving student achievement, like for family and parent involvement with the read and respond forums and setting those goals, trying to increase read and respond. How pumped are you as SFA teachers to have those initiatives in place to really increase? That's going to directly affect instruction and student achievement, as well as that attendance hot list. I'm really excited about that here, because if they're not here, we can't teach them. So I'm really excited about some of the initiatives that the Success Network is putting forth. I think it's going to have a really positive impact on student achievement. So I'm going to present our SFA instructional components. I'll start with the EDGE component. For the third quarter, our goal for a comprehension test was 85% for the entire components, and we wanted to move 22 students to meets. We ended up meeting the goal in EDGE. 86 was the comprehension average. Woo-hoo! Super excited about that. And all of the components from kinder all the way up to EDGE really refocused instruction this quarter. And everyone, we were all aligned to the same goal. We all really wanted to focus on the modeling piece, using think alouds in our instruction. I really feel that that was evident through walkthroughs, but also in our results. Really think that alignment and that refocus has paid off. Yes, Ms. Ditto?
I know that in my class, doing extra focus on the think aloud has really helped with the kids identifying pieces of evidence, clarifying words, even at that level 8 that I had for third quarter. Some of those terms were really difficult, and for the kids to be able to identify that and feel comfortable enough to break it down from seeing me modeling it has really been purposeful in the classroom. So I think that attributes to increasing that comprehension score that we work towards.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, EDGE teachers, because I think it's really huge improvement. And I have my thesaurus out in some EDGE classrooms sometimes. I'm putting sticky notes on my on my stuff. I'm going to move over to the WINGS components. We had a nice lofty goal of 90% for our comprehension average, which was great. I love the high expectations that all of our WINGS teachers set all the time. We wanted to move 31 students to meeting. At the end of third quarter, we ended up with 84% as our comprehension average. So we're almost there. And we moved 13 kids to meeting, which is great, moving 13 WINGS students to meeting. So really big cause for celebration there. And I know that we had our WINGS component meeting yesterday. We have Mr. Patriquin as our new WINGS lead. So thank you so much, Mr. Patriquin. I'm really excited about that. And we really think just keeping up with those rubrics, using the language of the rubrics, having students involved in their scores and in how they're taking their tests, graphing their tests. I think we came up with some of those root causes yesterday as things that are all going to contribute to reaching that 90%, that goal. So we're almost there. So great job in WINGS for this past quarter. And we had some good foresight results too. So just keep working on that transfer over to the foresight test. And moving to the roots component. For a third quarter goal, we wanted 56% at or above grade level as seen on our grade summary form. At the end of second quarter, so starting off at the beginning here, third quarter, we had 28% of our kids that made 2 levels of growth. So I think in Roots, we felt a really big sense of urgency to move these kids. All the Roots teachers just got together in component meetings, heads together, what are we going to do to move these kids? We have 44% at the end of third quarter at or above grade level. Didn't quite make the goal that we set, however, at the end of second quarter, we also had 44%. So we maintained the kids that we have at or above grade level. There's a really rigorous jump. It's a 2-level jump in Roots from quarter to quarter. So that's great that we didn't lose any kids. We maintained all of the kids that we had at or above grade level. And we made 47% of the kids made 2 levels of growth. So we had a 20% increase on the kids that made 2 levels of growth. So that is fantastic. Great job, Roots teachers. So I really think that sense of urgency really paid off. And doing observations and seeing Roots teachers do think alouds and purposefully modeling and just really, really purposeful instruction that has definitely had an impact on student achievement and make a difference. And for those Roots teachers, they're just setting everyone up, setting WINGS up, setting EDGE up for success down the road. So we're really pumped about that. And our kinder component. Third quarter, we wanted 30% of students to score 80% on their combined phonemic awareness assessments. They have a little stepping stones assessment that they do with some phonemic awareness. At the end of third quarter, 52% of the students were scoring 80% or above on the phonemic awareness combined assessment. That is fantastic. We do a round of applause. Ms. Corrigan?
We started something new in kindergarten, and I'm so proud of our team. We started differentiating for half an hour a day, which isn't a normal part of kindergarten for SFA. So half an hour a day, we separate the classes in 3 different levels, and we refocus on old stories and harder stories so they can really grow. It's made a difference.
It obviously has made a difference. And just they came up with that on their own. That is their own initiative. And what a powerful thing that's happening down in kindergarten. And again, setting the tone for our kids, for Roots, for WINGS, for EDGE. But I think it's really clear how all of us working together with the Success Network components as well as our SFA instructional components, what a difference we're making in the lives of our kids. And it's not just my kids anymore, they're all our kids together. And I think it's all this collaboration and alignment is really making a huge impact on student achievement. So thank you.
So at this point in time, it's time for the big reveal of our third quarter results. So I hope you're all excited. We have gone through all the different components of our Success Network and the initiatives that we've had in place. And all of that has really culminated in these third quarter results. And it's because of our collaboration and because of the synthesizing our efforts together in the Success Network that we're really going to see what kind of progress we've made. So in third grade, at the end of third quarter, we had 54% on grade level as measured by Foresight, and that's a 12% growth since second quarter. So that's awesome. And now, moving in to meet our AYP, we only need to move 9 more kids in third grade to make that goal. So that seems really feasible if we keep working really, really hard and pushing for, everybody working together to help those students. In fourth grade, we had 58% was our level of at or above grade level, and that was a slight decrease. But if you think about where this grade level is, it's about on par with the rest of the grades. So this is something, since we experienced a decrease here, as a Success Network, we can really look to help those students and help support those teachers in any way that we can so that we can bring those scores back up. And they need to move only 7 kids to meet AYP. In 5th grade, we have 67%. So that is a 10% increase. So let's give them a round of applause. That's great. In 8th grade, it's 60%. So we made a 6% increase. So another round of applause. And that means we only have 5 kids to move. So if you look at these, it looks great. We have moved and made progress in 5 out of the 6 grades. And I really want to emphasize that I think that's because of all of our hard work and all of us working together in our Success Network components. Now, as a whole grade level, or as a whole school, I'm sorry, we have our grade summary form. As Janine mentioned earlier, at the end of 2nd quarter, we were at 67%, and now we're at 71%. So we've made 4 percentage points growth as measured by our grade summary form. So there we go. That's another cause for celebration. And before we wrap up, and I have Mr. Elefandi come on to wrap up, I really want to emphasize that this is our last push for AIMS. You guys all have your hot lists now. We've given them out, and if you don't have your hot lists, they will be at the component meetings for your homeroom and for your SFA class. So what we need to do now is really look for those kids in the hot list and how we can best support them. Now, me and Jody and Janine will be coming around to each Success Network meeting so that we can look at each committee. So we'll go to attendance, we'll be going to community connections to see who those hot list students are and how each Success Network committee can help bring those students up to on grade level. So I hope you guys look forward to that and our last push at the end of 4th quarter, and I think you guys are going to do so great. So round of applause again for all of our hard work, and Mr. Elefandi is going to come wrap it up.
Well, thanks everybody for coming today to our meeting. I just want to review a couple of things. Yes, AIMS is coming in 11 days, and we've made a lot of progress towards our goals, but keep in mind that we do have goals for the end of the year. They're not the same now, they are for the end of the year, to try to get us halfway between the end of this, or AMOs for this year and AMOs for next year, so that we have a jump start, so we're not having to work quite so hard next year. Do a lot of work this year and get us over there. The Solutions Network meetings like this provide a forum for us to share our information, to make sure that we're all on the same page, and also to hold ourselves accountable to each other on what are we doing. I saw a lot of that today in the meetings, is what are we doing about this? What did we forget about there? And so that really helps us keep us focused towards student achievement. So I do appreciate all your efforts, and you guys are working great, and I truly, honestly, when I say this, I mean it with all my heart. You guys are the best staff in this district, and I mean that sincerely.